So you are mainly hands-on on the HTML5, JavaScript,
CSS, TypeScript, Angular.
TypeScript, Angular. So Angular, which version?
Angular, currently I'm working on Angular 16.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's start with some technical side, okay?
Sure.
Yeah. So you have worked on ES6, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. So okay, so how do you, I mean, what are the different OOPS concept you used in JavaScript?
Different hooks.
No, OOPS.
Okay, so oops are basically, if I say in JavaScript we're using classes and a constructor. Okay, so classes, once we define the class, then we define their constructor with this parameter with a global variable. So here is the class name, then the constructor, then inside the class there are the functions name. Like class name is ABC, so function, if I say sign up or login, kind of.
Okay. So what are the, I mean, do you know the OOPS concept names? What are the different concepts that there under OOPS?
Yes, if I say in JavaScript, OOPS concept are basically the classes, functions, and their methods like.
Okay. So apart from Angular framework, any other frameworks you know?
If I work on PHP, Laravel, Coding Writer, so if I say RxJS, I have worked on one small project in RxJS, but currently I'm not prepared with RxJS.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So can you talk like how do you make a responsive design? What are the different rules we should follow to make a responsive design?
So for responsive designs, basically the rules are like we don't define any pixel width in pixel fixed width in responsive. We are considering the width in percentage, and also we use media queries for that. Or Bootstrap also we use Bootstrap for this. And if I say there are now we use display flex, reflex, like we are using for responsive design.
Okay.
Also, suppose I have a div or I have a, if I say any element, so I don't give the width fix in pixel. So I try to make it like in percentage. So once we smaller our device or our screen size, that automatically adjusts to particular device.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it. And if something is required based on like, if something you want to show in a bigger dimension of the desktop version, suppose you want to show some particular div, but while that page will be opened in mobile or smaller dimension of any device, that particular div should not be shown. So how do you manage it?
It managed by media queries. It's like if I say max media query syntax is @max width and define the width particular device, then I will like display none for particular div by ID or class. So once that particular size, the particular div will be display none for the particular device or particular screen size.
Okay, got it. So do you know, is there any disadvantages are there in iframe tag, or all good? There is no issues.
If I say iframe tag basically we are using for like other website open in our. So I think it's a security issue. Disadvantage. Suppose other website we include in our website with iframe. So in that website, is there any JavaScript code? Is there? They will like hack our like content or our input. Like if I say there is a form with user detail in our websites. So any users fill the details of the form. Then that iframe JavaScript capture that like information and send to other server. Okay. Or iframe, I think iframe are not responsive or some minimum size of that.
Okay. So as you are talking about the security, so what are the different things we should follow to build a web page to make that my page is secure enough? So what are the things you follow?
In Angular, if I say I create a page, so we use auth guard for that package. Like auth guard are there, so someone like try to access our website, so we implement for that auth guard. Or there is also SSL certificate. So managing SSL certificate by that.
Okay. Do you know what is CORS? Cross origin resource share?
Yes. It's CORS origin. Suppose I have a backend URL. Okay, it's like abc.com. Okay, and I have integrated that with the domain name which like ZYX. I will try to like access that domain to other domain. So our like it's the course, give the course error because I have not provide that ZOX domain to ABC access. That we call the course.
Okay. Can you tell what is the difference between async and wait?
Okay, async and await. Async and await, I think there is no async and await are working parallel. If I say async, we can make a function async, then we once we define a await to any variable or any like function, then we need a async for that.
So there is a promise is related. Which one is
Yes.
related to promise?
There is the promise. Yes, the promise are basically we create for async methods like suppose I have a API that's taking time, or our JavaScript, or if I say JavaScript Angular node are synchronous. So I want to make it asynchronous. Once our we call a API, then we receive data from that, then we render that on our HTML or on our view. So we use for that promise are to state like resolve and reject. Once our data is received, and we resolve data that return resolve, and once we call a promise, we need then for that. So I create a promise. So I need to that function be done.
Okay. So any idea on the viewport? Like we sometimes give in our CSS as well the VW.
VW. Okay.
Or viewport
VW.
or something on that. Yeah.
Yes, I have idea. Like VW is, I think it's the screen size. If I say, sometimes I give here like height in VW. So 100 VW like viewport with 100% of my like screen size. That can be used for. So suppose there are many clients that required that our one page, our UI design. Okay, so that's they want to in full height and full width of suppose any image or any div. So we use VW for that, 100 V for height and width for 100 V. So it's fixed on our, like if I say height and width for our screen, client screen.
So there is a deferred attribute, right? In the script tag. Defer. What is deferred attribute?
It's a default attribute in CSS.
No, not default. Defer. DEFER.
Defer attribute. No idea what defer attribute.
Like before HTML parsing is complete, if we make some script tag as defer, so it will delay the execution of the script until the HTML parsing is done. So that is for your performance mainly.
Okay. Once our like HTML render, then our HTML is preparing for rendering, then our view is ready for that. I think that kind of defer property.
Yeah. So how do you call RESTful API from your
HTTP request method from Angular?
Okay, from Angular.
Yes, from Angular HTTP request method we are calling that API. So it is like if I say there is HTTP post and like get, and also we set the header for that. Header is like if I say UID authorization key, and there is also the response in JSON. So we are using HTTP methods for that. Is the default Angular package HTTP method.
So from HTML, normal HTML, can you call REST API?
Yes, with the AJAX. We are calling like with the normal HTML, we are calling API with AJAX.
Okay.
We are using AJAX for that.
Got it. So correct. So there is AJAX you were saying, right? There is a XML HTTP request,
HTML HTTP request.
No, XML HTTP request.
Okay, XML HTTP request. Okay.
So what are the different response types? Do you know?
Like if I say XML HTTP, I have not used. We are using like AJAX and fetch in normal HTML.
Yeah. So whenever you are doing a just doc fetch, there is a response you will get, right, from backend APIs.
Yes. Okay.
So how do you understand? What are the different codes you will understand, whether it is failed or succeed or
So these are basically we like is there the one is the HTTP status code. Okay, and one we define in our API like status code is 200, 400, that kind of. So we if is there a HTTP status code within 200, like two, then we go to success. Otherwise, in catch we like 400, 500. So we received that in catch, and catch we got that error. What kind of error? Suppose 501 server not responding, or 401 like authorization error. So that kind of we capture that, and also we provide the status code for that particular API. Suppose I want to log in from my page, so I have entered my email or password, but my from my backend API like we received like 201 entry valid status code is 201. So we know that the 201 means our API is correct, but our data that we provide to request that are not correct. That kind of we handling with the status code.
Okay, so suppose I am using currently Angular 8. Okay, now I want to upgrade to Angular 16. How can I do it?
Angular 8 to Angular 16. Basically, in Angular 16, like ES6, like we need data type of every. If our recently I have updated Angular 10 to 16. So in our project, like there are data types. Suppose we define any variable with no data type. So that gives me lots of error for that. And there is like if I say Angular JSON file. So we need to update that also, and in our code we need to define every data type for that. We need to update for it. Is there a method is ng update Angular CLI core? And also, I think we don't directly update 8 to 16. We need to update step by step for that.
Okay. Okay, so can you explain a little bit on the Angular modules?
Okay, so Angular modules are basically, in modules there are services, providers, components, and routing in modules. And basically we are using Angular modules for, if I say lazy loading, suppose our dashboard is huge, like is there user, customer, is there like if I say there are many restaurant or kind of things. So we use modules for that to divide our Angular in separate modules. So in the one module, there are, suppose a users module, there is user edit, delete, or if I say it's user creation kind of modules. So Angular modules are like separate part of the components and like it's directories and that kind of things. Module.
So Angular is one-way binding or two-way binding?
Angular is one way or two way both.
Both.
If I say from component to HTML, there is one way, and we using two-way binding for ng model. ng model are two-way binding. Or suppose I define a variable, then in string interpolation with curly brackets, suppose I define a variable with name Ashwini, and in our DOM HTML, just with curly bracket, I would like show the name. So that is the one-way binding. And also there is a event binding. Once I have a button, so I want to capture once anyone click on their button. So in our component we receive any event for that. So is there event binding also? Click, there is a click function, click and the function name. So once we click, anyone click on that button, so we received a event in our component.
Okay. So suppose I'm creating an HTML page, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And for that HTML page, how can I link that this is my CSS I have to use in Angular perspective?
Okay, so there is the, like if I say, is there a selector? Okay, one is selector. What selector is the HTML of our. Is there a selector? They are the name of our component, particular component. Then there is a template URL of our HTML, and there is a style URLs that our CSS file path here.
Okay. So when do we use pipes?
Yes, like I have not created custom pipe, but I have used pipe like uppercase, date, that kind of pipe I used.
The existing one you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. But if we want our own pipe, what we need to do?
Is there a decorator @ pipe? So I just define that with the function. Suppose I want to highlight or red. I want to just highlight my particular div where I use that pipe. So particular text color. So I create a custom pipe for that, and a function. Once written that function, I define that, include that particular pipe in our component. Then like pipe with that kind of.
Okay.
Like I forgot that keyword name. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
That called the pipe.
Yeah. So suppose in creating a project, there I need to create all the routing mechanism.
Okay.
So what are the different places I need to configure?
In routing.
Yeah.
So in routing, if I say we need like a routing module for that. Okay. So in routing module there are the routes there in array where we define the path and there is a component name. And also in lazy loading where we need to define the load children, where we define our inner module or some module we create, suppose XYZ modules, we need to define that particular module name for that. And there is the import routing module for route and also export that particular router module.
Okay, got it. So what are the different HTTP method names you know? I mean, you use usually.
Actually, I know that if I say HTTP get, post, put, delete, that kind of, but basically in our projects we basically use get and post.
Okay, get and post. Okay. You know what is patch?
Fetch,
Patch, PATCH.
patch, no patch, about patch. It's like a HTTP methods, but no, I don't know.
Okay, no problem. So as we were talking about ES6, right? So
Yes.
how do you follow the inheritance mechanism from one class to another class? How do you inherit?
Okay. ES6 inherit other class, like if I say in Angular, I export that particular class, then import that in our particular component. I use that function. Suppose in our Angular there is a services. Okay, services are the class. So I import that service in our component. Then I define that in constructor, and for this that constructor reference, I will call that services function. Suppose I have a service, user service. There is a function get users. So I inherit that import in our component. Then I call that with this user service name. Then the particular function in that get users.
Okay.
That kind of thing. We inherit one class to another.
So you know how do we make a spread in ES6?
Spread.
Yeah. Spread operator. How does it work?
Spread operator, like with I think that is 3 dots. I think so.
Yeah.
It's work with array objects.
Yes.
So it's like divide key and value.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So while you are writing the JavaScript, you're including the JavaScript in your HTML. So at which place you usually include that JavaScript file?
So I will basically use some like if I say in JavaScript, I use like in header.
In head.
Including my JavaScript.
Why it is in head? Why it is not in down, in bottom?
Because once our page is loaded, that initialize that particular file, there is, I think, no particular. I don't know what the particular reason, but I use like style and scripting file at the top.
Yeah, style is fine. Style we should do at the top because it depends on the view of the HTML, right? Otherwise, it will break at the starting. But it's, script is why it is at the top, because script mainly, unless it is required, right, during the rendering time, right? Unless it is required during the rendering time, we need not to include in the top, right? At the bottom also it should work. And what do you think about that?
Like if I say JavaScript is finishing in the head, like HTML markup, if I say it's like once especially head comes when it like organize the separation from the file, like it's separate from our HTML markup. So it's once head is loaded, then our script and CSS or that are loaded in all. But I don't know truly what the reason behind this. Sometimes like I have created a widget for suppose I have created a widget of my website that client want to requirement that our widget just they need the widget code and just they put there that code in our website anywhere, then our widget is open in the right side. So that kind of thing I have give them our URL with the scripting language. They put anywhere they want in our HTML. So that particular scripting is working.
Okay. Can you give some string function names which are introduced in ES6?
String function naming in ES6.
Yeah, introduced in ES6. So you know string function. There is a string function.
Yes. I know that. Like if I just split the.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Includes. Can you talk about includes? What is includes?
Includes, like if I say includes are a particular key or key value, includes that in our array or in our string. Suppose my name is Ashwini, then a dot includes like name dot includes s. So it's written with true or false.
Okay. So can you talk like what is a prototype design pattern in ES6?
Prototype design pattern in ES6, like in ES6 prototype, like there is the classes and functions. So if we define the classes, then the constructor, then the function. Constructor are the like for the reference for that particular class. We define that for.
Mainly creates new object. You're saying?
Yes.
But instead of returning the uninitialized object, it returns objects with values, right?
Yes.
Like a prototype, like how does it clone it, right? Okay. You know what is weak map?
Weakener.
Weak map.
Weak map. I know, but I have used weak map. Weak map.
Do you know map? How does it work?
Yes. Map is the predefined array functions. So it's like return the like it's like filter map. Map is work with arrow functions.
Yeah, but what is the difference then with array and map?
Array and map, like it's like if I say array and map are worked on array. Like map is the predefined method for array.
Okay.
So map returns a new array. Suppose I have a array 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. So I have like if I say my numbers, or I want to like divided by, suppose I have 1, 2, 3, 4 array. I want to multiply by every array number to 2. I have used for that map, and it returns me a new array for that. Like if I say numbers.map, then it's the value element into 2. So every number it's into by 2, and then return a new array for that.
Okay. But you know, map is a concept of key value pair.
Map is used on array.
Map is the concept with the key value pair. Key value pair, you know what is that?
Key value pair also, like if I say objects in array objects, like inside the array object and the key value is name Ashwini, that kind of like key value pair.
Okay. So what are the different collections you worked under ES6?
ES6, like if I say currently I have used like classes, constructor. And
no, I'm saying collections. Like, the collections means, you know, right? Like set.
Yes, it's like maps and sets.
Set, map, list, these things, right? So,
like if I use like a new map, or then if I say to use sets.
So you did not work much on ES6, is it?
Yes, like if I say I have worked on like Angular, so we have worked on Angular with the TypeScript.
Yeah, got it. So you have mainly worked on the Angular with TypeScript, right? So ES6 you have not worked much on that, because ultimately in there also it is required.
But like if I say it's now here is RxJS also available for Angular.
Yeah, so in TypeScript when you develop, right? So there is also these things are required, these ES6 concepts.
Yes, that's required. Like, but if we use like ES6 concept like classes, functions, or like filter, that kind of, then we use RxJS for that.
So you don't use these ES6 concepts, you're saying?
No, like if I say ES6 concept like number, boolean, string, symbol, arrays, that kind of concept we are using. But
Okay.
I think I am confused with that both like RxJS and ES6 because there are ES6 methods like math, date, arrays, that kind of like we are using for that. But I say map and sets, promises, modules, error handling, or like try catch, everything is in ES6.
So how do you handle your localization in your project?
With like storage.
What does it mean? I didn't get storage means.
It's local storage or session storage that you do.
No, I'm saying localization. Localization means you know what is that? Or you can talk about internationalization.
Localization.
It is more about the language. Like
Okay.
different languages we show, right?
Okay.
Like English.
Okay.
Chinese,
That's good.
French.
So okay. Localization, I got it. The multiple languages in our website. Okay, so in Angular, we are the npx translate module we are using for that, and we creating the JSON file for particular, like if I say lang.es, lang.en, like de, therefore that we put that in our like assets folder, then we are using basically npx translate module for that.
Okay.
So
suppose I have, yeah. So suppose I have my in Angular parent component, child component. Okay. So from parent to child, I need to send some value. Then once I'm done in the child component, then I need to return the values, the outputs to the parent component. How can I do it?
Okay. So there are, like if I say input output method for that. If we stand from our parent to child, then we use output, and in parent we use input for that. Parent to child input, and child to parent like output for that.
Okay, and what are the other things we need to do?
There are also event emitter also available in like if I say, or there is like we in our particular in our HTML we define with curly brackets the variable name and the like value of that, and we capture that in our child module.
Okay.
And also use output for that from child to parent.
Okay, got it. And okay.
So like laptop charge.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now on the, so just I am looking into yeah. So how do you do unit testing in your front end side?
If unit testing, like there is a in Angular like ng run test, and also for unit testing like storage our like provide Jira tickets for that particular module or particular implementation. So we are just test scenarios are there. So we don't create any like automatic unit test. We just test manually for that.
Okay. You don't use any unit testing framework?
No.
Then each time you have to do manually, right? Whenever there is a release.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So no karma or something.
Like if there is a like ng test module for Angular, they're using that like karma server for that.
But you're not using that now, you're saying.
Just run, like if I say just run ng test and that is success. So I think that it's for that. Currently we are using that kind of thing, like we run with ng test, then it's karma is success. Then we like say there is success. If there is any failure, then there is a failure of that.
So is there any automation of UI you have done like Selenium and all?
I don't know the automation Selenium, but in our QA team there is that is like they guide, like they provide the guidance, like we need to add every element or any a particular ID, a unique ID for that.
Okay.
So they can capture from from that ID, like button click or anything in Java.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. So you know RxJS also, you're saying, is it?
Yes, RxJS.
Okay, okay, okay. So what is observer in RxJS?
Uh, Observable is like a promise. Okay, once we define any observable, then we need to subscribe to that observable. So that kind of like if I say we need to create our async operations, then we use observable for in RxJS. Suppose
So
once we define any observable with a new observable, then once we call that we want to call that observable, we need to subscribe that observable.
you know what is pluck?
But it's I think
Pluck operator
no.
in a RxJS.
Yes, it's tab operator. Okay. It's tab operator. Once we subscribe any observable, we want to want to know the state of that subscribe observable. Then we use with pipe that tab operator, and also we like manipulate that response from this tab operator.
Okay. So what does it? What is subjects in RxJS? What is the concept of subjects?
Subject is like if I say the type of observable, but we like in observable we need to subscribe one time, but in subject it's defined with new subject, and there is the once we subscribe in multiple component for that particular subject. Like if I say I used in subject in our like socket IO, once we received any emit from socket, then that particular response I define with subject, and that subject I subscribe on our 2 or 3 like header component. There is one user component to subscribe that, but their major thing once I have done from that, then I need to unsubscribe that subject. Otherwise, I don't unsubscribe. Then so once second time socket, I will give any event, but I am not on that page. So event captured on that particular page.
Okay.
From the subject.
Got it. Okay. So yeah. So far I'm good from my side, Ashwini.
Okay.
So you have any question?
So just give me my feedback on how is going my interview. So
yeah, it is cool, but only the thing is ES6 you're not that much hands-on. We'll see if it looks
ES6
good.
basically ES6 I think I have like ES6 we are using array or like I am just, like little bit confused with RxJS and ES6, but we are officially using ES6. So there are like a map there are many methods like class or object, that kind of things.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
there is
sure.
no